Hello YouTube land. This is the fourth part of my Over series. You already know what the Over series is. It's videos I do dedicated to what I'm drinking, and there is some kind of loose connection from what I'm drinking to what I'm talking about. So you've got the Over Water videos, which is where I talk about exercise and the gym and supplements and that kind of thing. You've got the Over Pop or Soda videos, where I talk about video games, and you've got the Over Cider videos, where I talk about comic book characters and comic books in general. This one is the Over Rum video. If you're wondering what rum I'm drinking, I am drinking Myers rum, which my parents brought back from New York, and is really, really nice. So I'm going through this quite slowly, much slower than I go through something like Captain Morgan's or James Cook or Sainsbury's Superior Dark Rum, which are all good rums, saying that one of them is a home brand and the other one is sold by Lidl. They're all good brands, but I go through them really quickly because it's just what I do. And I'm mixing it with Dr. Pepper, because Dr. Pepper's a good mixer. And what I'm going to talk about in the Over Rum videos, because rum is a big staple in my life, this is literally my favourite drink, it is, I'll be talking about, Facebook, I'll be talking about my biggest love, as it were, books. Actually, no, I'm not. I am not going to be talking about my favourite books, because that will just turn into fan wank over Terry Pratchett. Literally, I would do maybe 50 videos on that, and it would all wind up being all videos about Terry Pratchett's Discworld, and then maybe one video about Brent Weeks, one video about Trudy Carnarvon, and one video about Kelly Armstrong. There you go, I've just given you a rundown of my top 4 writers. Spoilers, they're all fantasy. Except with the case of Brent Weeks, because he's bordering into mage punk. But whatever, we're not here to talk about writing. Instead, the Over Rum videos will be a discussion of cosplay and anime. The reason I'm kind of lumping those two together is because I go to a lot of conventions, so anime and cosplay go together quite well. But the other thing is that I don't just cosplay characters from animes, as you'll know by my pre- and post-Alcon videos, where I cosplayed Bane from DC. So I'm not going to be talking about Bane from DC because you already know enough about him. This video is... the other reason it's not about anime is I don't watch enough anime to dedicate it just to anime. So it's going to be a mix. It's going to be that big part of my life where I go to conventions dressed up as my favourite characters. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a leather waistcoat and nothing underneath it, no, it's not because I'm cosplaying a cowboy from the Village People, though I could. I do have a hat. I do like cowboy hats. I do like Stetsons. They're the only hat that actually suits me. No, it's because this is actually the basis for my Sabretooth cosplay. Which I might do a video about when I'm a bit better with that, because I don't quite I have the costume together, because the costume is literally just army boots, maybe barefoot, torn brown trousers, and leather waistcoat. Oh, and dog tags. Obviously, I'm wearing my pentacle rather than dog tags, because I don't have any dog tags at the moment. But I'll get some of those. I'll get like Sabretooth written on them, which would be kind of cool. Maybe even get like a full-on dog collar or something going on. No, this video I thought I'd do about anime while dressed as Sabretooth. But I'm not going to do it in Sabretooth voice. This video I thought I'd do about an anime that the anime that got me into animes. And I watched this when I was about 7, 8. Most people say that they started with Studio Ghibli, they started with... I don't know, I know a lot of people that said they started with stuff like Pokemon. But actually I watched this before Pokemon. My starting anime was actually Sailor Moon. And for me, a really young age, I actually really enjoyed Sailor Moon. I know that might sound like a contradiction, obviously me wearing what is quite... well, depending on where you are, it's either hedonistic, heterosexual, or homoerotic. So, I don't know, depending on where you're from, different culture, blah blah blah. But being shirtless in a leather waistcoat makes me feel kind of manly, if I'm honest. Well, at least animalistic, so... same thing. Mild offence. But yeah, Sailor Moon is obviously an anime directed at young women. And same with the manga. I'm not going to talk about manga much. I don't actually like reading mangas. I don't know if it's the way that they're made or just something about them. I don't like reading mangas, just like I don't really like watching subs. I don't like watching subtitles. Just because I feel it pulls my attention away from the actual show. So I prefer to watch the dub. Unless the dub is like so many levels of bad. Like the Kill la Kill or the Kuroshizushi Black Butler dub. In which case, yeah, I'll watch the sub. But no, this is about Sailor Moon. The reason I got into Sailor Moon was plain and simply because I watched it like partway through. I kind of thought, this is kind of interesting. It's got a nice message at the end for like friendship and togetherness and love and happiness. Because obviously I'm talking about the old anime. Not the new Sailor Senshi thing that's come out, which I might talk about later, because it's weird, to say the least. My friend Pandora Hollow got me into that, and it's weird in a fun way. It reminds me so much of watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was a kid. You watch it, and you just you can't tear your eyes away from it, because reasons. But no, anyway. So I kind of got in halfway through when all of the Sailor Moons had been discovered. Because we said Sailor Moon, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Venus, Sailor Jupiter, and Sailor Mars. My favourites were always Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Mars, if I'm honest. I always liked those two most of all. Probably because both of them were the most mature, and obviously got Sailor Jupiter, who's got the whole tomboy thing going on, so I really liked her for that. And I quite liked Sailor Mars because she had this whole... It was the whole spiritual aspect that kind of drove me to her, as well as the fire thing. I really like fire and spirituality and how they mix together. But no, I also... Literally the first episode I watched had Tuxedo Mask in. And as soon as I watched it, I was like, that is a cool guy. That is a guy wearing a tuxedo and a mask. He calls himself what he is, and he fights by throwing roses and hitting people with a cane. This is a pretty interesting guy. And I was right, he was an interesting guy, and it just kind of spoke to a very young me. Because even at a young age, I liked complex stories. I did. Probably because my mum kind of raised me on Terry Pratchett, and my dad raised me on Garfield comics. Okay, I'm not going to go into how Garfield has a complex storyline, but Mondays, man. Mondays. But no, that's not important. I don't really have anything else to say about Sailor Moon, because Sailor Moon's an old anime. I don't really have much to talk about it. It's just a good show. It's a good anime. You should give it a go. And it is so cheesy, it's great. Every time I watch it, it gives me a warm feeling, and I feel good and happy and nice. But no, I guess that's the end of this video. So, first Over Rum is actually shorter than any other video I've done. So drink responsibly, unless you're a student or over, 21, depending on where you are. And watch anime. And if you're a cosplayer, don't let them get you down. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, see you for the next one, guys.